Speaking of vaudeville, there used to be a critic in Chicago when we played there by the name of Percy Hammond. This is about 30 years ago, I guess. He was on the Chicago Tribune. And he reviewed our act. We did a big acting. We had about 25 people in the act. And he reviewed the act. And the next morning, this was the review. He said, the Marx Brothers and their various relatives ran around the stage for almost an hour yesterday afternoon. Why, I'll never understand. He was a tough guy. During the Second World War, years later, the Chicago Tribune correspondent had died. And they had to get a new guy to go over and cover the war. And they had a big meeting one day. They had Ring Lardner there. And they had the whole staff of the Chicago Tribune. And somebody suggested sending Percy Hammond over, this critic who had reviewed our act. And Ring Lardner says, no, you can't do that. Suppose he doesn't like the war. How many of you have read the George Kaufman book? Nobody, huh? He was a close friend of mine. He was a hell of a playwright. And he was also a show doctor. And I remember one of the Bloomingdale department store family was producing a show and opening it in Philadelphia. And they invited George Kaufman to come down there and see the show because it needed a little help. And Kaufman went down and sat in the second or third row. And when the show was over, the fellow from the Bloomingdales, he came down the audience and he said to George, he said, how about the show? How'd you like it? And Kaufman said, tell you what you do. Close the show and keep the store open at nights.